time, weather, and always class.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the John P. and Jay Show, where we talk about music production, and we do interviews of artists and ask them about their songs and their music and how they did the production. My name is John P., and this is...
Jay, I'm Jay. Jay all day.
And today we have another great show for you. Today we will be interviewing Laurlyn, and we will be talking about her release, Honey, which has been everywhere. It's such a great song. And here we go. And let's bring Laurlyn to the stage. Oh, I forgot to have her send the invite.
Keep doing it. It'll be fun.
Hey, Laurlyn.
Hey. Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the show.
Thank
We're so glad to have
you
you.
for having me.
So you've got a new single out called Honey.
I do.
You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Tell us about it, honey.
Honey. Yeah, Honey is my second single. It's a fun, nice little pop bop. I wrote it as kind of like a little, like the words are a little bit more morose, but the music itself, the sound is more poppy and boppy, and that was by design. So anyways, it's a fun one. I'm happy
Nice.
with it.
In case you're not familiar with Laurlyn, and I'm not good at doing introductions today, Laurlyn is an indie pop artist from Charleston, South Carolina. She loves to turn rich, melancholy melodies and into poppy type music. We are going to take a minute and listen to Honey. And if you haven't heard Honey yet, now you're going to get to hear Honey, and it's such a fantastic song. And here we go.
Honey.
All the times I tried to hide parts of me you didn't like. Oh, I tried. Yeah, I tried. Hid my ears behind my hair, pretended like I didn't care, but I tried. Yeah, I tried. Eventually I'd stand up and say enough's enough. You look me in the eye, remind me that you're right, and say to me, hey, honey, won't you be sweet? Smile for me. Hey,
That is such a great song. It really is. That's
Yay.
my favorite part's the honey. I,
That's what
I,
we call
I definitely think it. In just the chorus part
Yeah.
gives me the Imogen Heap feel, and that's just such a wonderful sound. I just love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, Laurlyn, what was your role with the production of this song?
Yeah, so I did work with a producer and engineer. His name is Matt Tooten. He works out of his studio called The Lab. And while I am myself not a producer, I did really want to have my hand in the production experience. And so it was definitely a collaborative effort, especially in the beginning as we were just kind of hammering things out and seeing what stuck and hit the wall. And I also had a really good idea in my head when I got to the studio what I wanted Honey to look like and what I wanted it to shape out as. So I was able to kind of bring a reference track, kind of beatbox at him a little bit and be like, hey, like this is how I want it to shape up. And it was like a cool moment where like I could just like see like it felt like what was down, like I downloaded what was in my brain into his brain and we're like, cool,
Nice.
let's do this. So yeah, it was a really, really great collaborative experience.
That's awesome. It came out great. It really did. It's a excellent song. As we go further, our next segment we're going to do Star Wars.
Not to be confused with Star Wars.
No, Daw Wars, DAW.
Star Wars. So Jay, this is for your segment.
Okay, so this is what Daw Wars. This is how Daw Wars works. Laurlyn's. Okay, so first of all, what a DAW is a digital audio workspace. It's what you use to record music, a software program, usually. So what Laurlyn's gonna do is gonna tell us 3 DAWs. One of them will be the DAW that she actually uses, and the other 2 will be lies. All lies.
Yay!
And then John P. and I will try to guess which one is the truth. So I have one clarification. So we're gonna do the DAW that you use at home. That was my next question, actually, for the questions. But are we gonna do the DAW that you use at home, or is that what are we doing?
Laurlyn, we'll leave that up to you.
Well, we'll do the DAW for Honey because, admittedly, I don't even have a DAW at home.
Okay. Well,
That's the truth.
that'll answer my next question too. Okay, so let's play the music again instead of
Star Wars.
Laurlyn, what are your 3 DAWs?
I'm going to go with the classic 3. Pro Tools, Logic, and Ableton.
Okay. John P., are you going first?
I can. I'm going to use the powers of observation. I know it's not Ableton because you had to think about that one. Pro Tools came first, but then Logic was second. So for trickery, well, actually for the song, I think it was Logic.
I'm gonna. What happens if we win? I forgot to say what happens if we win. It's supposed to. We were supposed to have a bet on, but anyway, I forgot about that part. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Logic too because probably Matt probably uses Logic.
It's true.
And wait.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
And what is it?
It's Logic.
Woo! There's no war on Star Wars. There's no war.
It's a tie.
It's a tie.
It's a tie.
You both win.
We both
5
win.
stars.
Oh,
So that leads to my next question. Are you ready to move on?
yeah. Let's go
Okay.
on.
That leads to the next question, which I have to kind of rephrase because so basically your process is you write and record. I mean, you write the song on the piano, and so you write, and then you arrange it and do all the lyrics, and then you bring it into Matt and say, what should we do with this? I was thinking about this. What do you think? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I so far in like the way that our relationship has worked, I have complete songs. I mean, when I originally reached out to him, I was like, I want to do a 5-song EP, and that vision has changed as I've learned more about this ideal release music structure for marketing and everything. But yeah, like I mean, I had like 5 complete songs and really good vision in my head already of what I wanted them to do. And so it's mostly just like me coming in and we lay down a scratch and then building from there.
Nice.
Do you have it, like, how do you keep track of it? Do you record it on your voice memos or on GarageBand or something?
Yeah. Just my voice memos.
Nice.
I'm like really advanced. I'm like really technically proficient.
I think that it's sort of limiting in a way, but I think that helps your songwriting, because then you have to get the song to a place where it's interesting to listen to all the way through, with just the piano and vocals. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think all the time, like maybe I should just go ahead and invest in a DAW that I'd be happy with and start like that process from there. But I don't, and that's probably like next phase for me. But I'm spinning my pennies elsewhere at this juncture.
There are always free DAWs that can help you out to get started.
To get started.
Yeah.
Like GarageBand. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. The next question I have for you is, what mic did you use? What was your main vocal mic for your sessions? Do you remember?
Yes. I didn't remember, but I texted Matt and was like, I can't remember what was it. It's a Neumann U87.
Nice. That's a nice microphone.
Yeah.
That's like the microphone, right? It's like the classic.
It gets the job done, that's for sure. When I texted him about it, he sent me the whole vocal chain. If you're interested in the
Absolutely. Let's run through it for us.
Okay.
Run through it for us. I love vocal chains.
So Neumann U87. And then for the preamp, he did a Neve 1084.
Hardware? Oh, nice.
And then TubeTech CL1B for the compressor.
Nice. So all that was hardware before you even went into the DAW. That's awesome.
All the dry air box.
Nice.
Cool. You talked about yay. You talked about it a little bit in the first question, but can you tell us a little bit more about the recording process for Honey?
Yeah. Like I said, I honestly was like, man, it's actually been a minute since we started recording Honey. And so I was like, I gotta think back, like what even happened? Like, but I like went back and listened to like the first bounce that he sent me. And I was honestly shocked, like how much was there already just like after day one. Like we like had a really solid like day one with Honey. Like I'm like shocked, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I just laid down the scratch on piano and vocals, and actually a lot of the original like scratch track piano is in the final track. And so importance of getting a good scratch track, honestly, saves a lot of time and energy.
That's really cool.
Yeah, a lot of that just like stayed in. And then from there, we did the beatbox, like I like beatbox my idea for the beat for the chorus. And then that
Can
was
you give us a
like,
sample of your beatboxing?
I don't know if I'm willing to do that.
Aww. It's for the learning process.
I don't know if I'm willing to do that.
if I go first, would you do it? If I break the ice.
I want to hear you do it anyway, Jay.
Oh.
Yeah, you go ahead, Jay.
Beat like old school beat. Oh, let's see, like this.
Yeah, that's the exact rhythm on the chorus of Honey right there.
Yeah, there we go.
That was pretty good, though, Jay. That was pretty good.
There's different beatboxing that you do for like you're actually trying to beatbox, or if you're trying to tell like the drummer or
yeah, I'm just like trying to communicate like a general beat, like what's in my head.
I've heard some really bad beatboxing, but that it gets the message through.
Yeah,
I think that's the important part.
That's it. You know, that's kind of what happened. That's why I'm not really ready to perform that on live at this juncture.
Here's your little one.
Now those are skills right there.
That's not bad.
Thank you. I've got songs with my beatboxing in them.
Oh yeah, that's incredible.
No one will ever hear them. Okay, back to Laurlyn.
Yeah. That took us down a little side road. Yeah. So then from there, it was just like, okay, we got to start building this out. Really early on, we liked the idea of like building those vocal stacks for the pad, like the vocal pad that kind of continues through it. So that was something that was done pretty early on. Just building those out and tracking those. And then the other thing that I think was done day one was like figuring out that ARP that's in the arpeggiator that's in the second chorus and beyond. Like that's like a really important part of Honey in my mind, and like how it structured together. And you know, we were just messing around on all of the various instruments in the studio, and he came across that ARP, and we're like,
Was it one of those go through each patch section trying to find the right one?
Yeah, and just like, do we even want a synth? Like, I don't know. And you're just like, you know, like messing around and like seeing what hits the wall, and you know, yeah. And then that was like critical. I feel like that like really decided so much about the track, was laying in that ARP.
Nice. I think picking the right synth for the song is a very, very important, sometimes time-consuming, but very important part to making a song what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just fills all the space, you know.
Yeah. How long from the time you went from the song's written to putting it out?
Honestly, a while. So I probably had it written in like September of last year, and then I didn't start in the studio because I didn't have all my songs together / myself together until like November. We started in November of last year, and like I said, at that time I was like set on like the 5-song EP thing, and so we tracked 4 songs in like 3 days, not in entirety, but just like started like getting stuff out, and then continued working on like multiple songs. And then somewhere in that time period I was like, I'm gonna want to do a single releases first / I wanted to do my music video, and so that's when we decided to shift to like focusing on A Tone as my debut single with the music video, and then Honey after that. So it was kind of like, it took a lot of time, like there was a lot of time, but we weren't like focused on Honey for all of that time, if that makes sense.
No, that totally makes sense.
You think you're more of a like live instrument person or VST or both? Like when you recorded Honey, did you use your keyboards or what?
Yeah, most of Honey is live audio. I think the only thing that's not live audio is the drum samples. Those were VSTs, and I'm pretty sure just like on deck Logic drum samples.
Nice.
But as far as like my preference is that we pick the sound that sounds best for the track. I don't really have like a deep devotion to live audio versus VSTs. I think it's totally track dependent and totally situation dependent, and like what is necessary. And I mean, like back in the day, I used to do like perform live with the VST. Like I just used like main stage and then like Omnisphere, and would get like keys packs and stuff like that to like run through it. And I got kind of annoyed with that just because it's like part of it was my gear. Like I wasn't happy with like the MIDI controller that I had, but it feels like there's like too many layers, and I had a hard time like playing like dynamically and it communicating the way that I'm used to. Like, you know, like I'm used to like I grew up as a classical piano player, so I'm like used to the live piano and how that responds to me, and there's just like multiple layers that I kind of had to get used to and adapt for. And so I suppose like I guess like I prefer a live audio in that context, but I mean even that is probably advanced a ton since I've was playing live in that context.
So when we go VSTs, it's kind of like.
Yeah, Michael Tico wants to know what a VST is. Laurlyn, can you help Michael Tico out? Because I don't know.
Yeah, virtual instruments, sampling that you can use like with MIDI controllers to, you know, like put into your tracks, a wide variety of instruments with just like using like a MIDI keyboard or some sort of MIDI controller. It really opens your world up, and honestly is like a really smart cost saver and time saver. Like if you can make a great sound with a VST for like an instrument that you're looking for, like, oh my gosh, like what a brilliant solution. And they're getting so good these days, you know?
Oh, they are. They're a lot of times they're based on real instruments to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, like drum sampling, like neither myself nor Matt are drummers, but we can like keep time and like understand how beats are structured. So you just like start placing beats and then like move them, drag them around until they like hit the way you want them to, and you can experiment with a bunch of different things. It's a great option.
The more you know.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to tell you that you have been doing a really good job with promoting your song through TikTok.
Thank you.
And not being overbearing with it. And I'm like your TikToks are very fascinating, very interesting. What are some of the things that you've been doing to promote Honey?
Posting on TikTok. Yeah, that honestly is the bulk of it. I at this phase in my journey, I have like started to research various options for like promotions and marketing and all that, and like how I could spend money in that direction, whether that's through Facebook conversion campaigns or, you know, whatever. And I just feel like I have 2 songs out right now. So let's say I convert a bunch of Facebook users and they go over to my Spotify and there's 2 songs. So they're like, oh, okay, cool. You know? Mm-hmm. So like, I mean, like maybe people would be like really committed to those 2 songs. Like, sure, like maybe I'd catch a few people, but is that really worth where like spending my money at this juncture? I don't think so. Like I've reached out to a few connections that are a bit further along the line than me, thanks to, you know, TikTok connections and all that. And I've asked them a lot of questions about what they do. And it's all like really smart and intelligent and like really good ways to approach promotion. But I think I'm going to wait just a little bit until I have like a catalog to refer people to, before I start spending like advertising dollars. So anyways,
nice.
Long way
so
to
you do
say,
plan,
I use TikTok and Instagram.
Well, you do plan to put money into promotions when you get a little bit further on?
Yeah, like maybe at some point if I can be strategic about it and make sure that, I mean, no one. That's the thing. Like, you don't really know. Does anyone know what they're doing with?
Oh,
Like, really? I don't know.
I don't think any of us know what we're doing.
No, we
Yeah,
don't.
if it starts to make sense where it's like I'm referring people to a body of work, then that sounds good to me. But yeah.
That's understandable.
Marketing is like a totally difficult thing. What's another thing? What was the most difficult thing, or something difficult about producing this song, Honey?
Something challenging about Honey for me personally is just like I really committed to the bit of like this is kind of like lyrically and like what the song means to me is like a very like like it means a lot and is like sad for lack of a better word. I hate saying just like sad, like that's very basic. And then like production wise and sonically it's just like this like happy pop thing, and I wanted like I that was intentional, like that's what I wanted, that's what like that was like part of it for me and kind of like part of the story that I was trying to tell. But at the same time it almost feels like there are times that I'm listening back to it to Honey and I'm like, this feels like foreign. Like I can't believe like this is what I created. You know, it just like doesn't feel like me sometimes, and so I've kind of had to like work through that and like, wow, like this is the, I mean it's still me, this is great, this is an excellent work, and yeah, anyways, that's probably been the most challenging part for me.
One of your TikToks, I believe you said that you were sick of Honey or something like that. Tell me about that. Tell me, like, I know as a songwriter and doing production and stuff, you sometimes just get sick of songs, but I want to
Yeah.
hear what triggered that TikTok.
It maybe wasn't so much sick of it as much as I was just like, well, kind of what I was describing is just like, ugh, this like doesn't feel this, it just feels so like it's like an out of body experience. Like I made this, like I like this is weird, and I just like, do I even like it? Like I don't know. So it was just kind of like a strange thing that, and it happens honestly from like just like really flying too close to the sun at the end of production, where you're just like listening to everything really intensely and like going through like the like minor details. I know similarly like Matt was like really intricately involved in the end of it. Like there's a lot of sound in Honey, like there's a lot going on, and so he did spend a lot of time just like really fine-tuning all of those parts and how they interlay together. And so there was just a lot towards the end where we both were just like Honey at the end. And yeah, anyways, just for a minute there, I think we both were like, oh boy, this is a lot.
Well,
So.
we can dub it post song depression.
Yes.
I know, it's like it's almost like if you don't hate it right when you're finished, then it's not going to be a good song.
Yeah. Like,
You haven't put enough time into it
yeah,
yet.
you didn't like sell your soul to it, you know, like.
Well, we were talking about you have 2 songs out. Well, tell us about that other song, and we'll give it a listen.
Yeah, my other song is A Tone. Really proud of that song, especially as my debut. That song kind of stemmed from my just absolute frustration working in like customer facing roles in a very like wealthy and affluent town. And it's just how people treat you.
Did you do this song, production wise the same way you did Honey?
Yes, in the
Okay.
studio with Matt. We worked out Honey and A Tone within the first like 2 days that I was in the studio. Like those were our first 2 like focuses.
Well, nice.
So,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here is A Tone by Laurlyn. I almost said by Honey.
Is this the end of the show? Are we ending the show?
Yeah, well, maybe.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I just wanted to know.
we got questions from the audience,
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, we'll do some questions first.
Here we go. Questions from the audience. I know Casey asked a long time ago. Do you remember the day that you wrote, Honey?
Yes,
Really?
I do actually. Yes. I think I had just gotten my Nord, like I just purchased it, which was fun, you know. You're just like really obsessed with your new instrument, right? And I was just kind of like, oh, you know, wow, I just like core memory unlocked. I just remembered I was like messing around with sounds on the Nord, which honestly, that's a really good songwriting tip. Just FYI, like if you're like feeling like really like brain fog and just like really like writer's blocky, changing up your sound, like if I don't know, if you're like playing electric guitar or something, like change up your like distortion or something, and then like for keyboardists you have like a whole array of things you can kind of work through. And so I was just like messing around with the sounds, and I think I was on like an organ sound, like a B3 or something, and I just like started that progression, and that kind of inspired the like honey-ish moments. And then I was also just like kind of working through some like frustrations, and that's like, oh, that's where it came from. Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Yay!
Songwriting tip: you get a Nord. Yep.
So is your Nord your main instrument?
Yeah. I mean, that is the only keyboard I have in my house at the moment, which is kind of sad, I guess.
It's kind of like the only one you
But
might
it
need,
works.
right?
That's really all you need. But yeah, I'm just a keyboardist pianist. That's all I got.
Nice.
Anyone in the chat have some questions for Laurlyn? This is the audience participation portion of the show.
Yay!
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 So, if there's anything you're dying to know. So
Well, Miko wants to know if you drive a white SUV to your recording sessions.
I do not. I do not. I'm not that. What's the word? Fake, I guess. So
There's a great question from Brooke. How do people in your real life feel about your music career?
ooh, good question. It kind of depends person to person. I'm married, so my husband, he's been supportive of the whole process, and just encouraging me. My extended family, my parents, my sister, like, it's been kind of like it's been an interesting thing. Like, I don't know, they just like don't get it, you know, like just because they're not like in it, you know, and so they ask a lot of questions that I know are like really well intentioned, but I'm just like, ooh, that felt like mean, you know what I mean? But
I mean,
they're supportive. They're so excited for all that I'm doing, but yeah, it's a. My close people are definitely in my corner.
That's awesome. I think it's really important to have good support when you're doing the music thing, because you're putting a lot of stuff out there. You're making yourself really vulnerable, and there's just so much that goes into it. And without the support, we might just like a deck of cards might just fall apart. House of cards.
It's so true. It's so true.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that ends our questions from the audience, and we are going to listen to her other song, Atone. So without further ado.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We say our hellos like we know we should, but underneath we think we know this relationship is just for show. Yeah, it's for show. Riding around dark, as bad as your bite. When underneath the ignore, the stunts you pull are just for show. Oh, for sure. Riding around in your white SUVs, you don't care about anything. Oh no, you're disturbing. The situation goes from bad to worse. Suddenly you think you're yours. On and on, you were told to me. Yeah, you ask me now, will you atone for me? Atone for me, atone for me. Will you atone for me, atone for me? Atone for me, atone.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Laurlyn over here. Make sure you go follow her and make sure that you're listening to her on Spotify, on Apple Music. And thank you so much for joining us. We can't thank you enough. And don't forget to follow Jay if you're not. Follow me if you're not. And we will see you next week, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Yay!
Yay!
Time, weather, and always pass.